Hey, what's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music, and we're going to learn Crazy right now. Willie Nelson, Patsy Cline made it famous as well. Also, real quick, if you haven't yet, I appreciate you so much subscribing here to Marty Music and clicking that bell. Crush that bell notification. Just crush it. And check the links below. All right, let's have some fun. All right, we got a little intro. C chord to F chord. So that's a little chromatic thing that you can do or not. You can go C to F, but the chromatic thing's pretty cool. It's the bass part, but so 3, 4, open D, 1, 2, 3, and it's the F chord. So. And so I'll show you the open chords, but some of these sound better as bar chords. So you've got the intro C, F, and then we're going to do F to E minor, D minor, G or G7, or both. And then the verse comes in, C chord, oboe, A7, D minor, stays on D minor, and now a G chord, G7, or G to the C, C sharp diminished, D minor 7, G. So that little thing there, C, C sharp diminished. Nice jazz vibe there. And so I'm going middle finger. And what's cool about this a diminished chord is the same shape, wherever you can find the root on any finger of the chord, will be a diminished chord with the shape here. So C sharp is middle finger on that C sharp, so 4th fret. 5th fret with the ring finger on the D. And then G is the 3rd fret with the index finger. And then pinky is the 5th fret on the B. So. And then it builds up to a D minor 7, which you can play here. You can play regular D minor. I'm doing this one. So it's like D minor with the pinky off. And then a G7 bar chord, which you could play. All right. So from the top, C, actually from the top of the verse, C chord, duh, and then there's a little bass note on the 1st fret of the A string, C chord, bow, bow, A7, D minor, stays on D minor. Now we go to G chord, G7. Now back to C, C sharp diminished, D minor 7, G7. Back to the C chord, do, do, A7, D minor again. So it's doing the same thing again, stay on D minor. And then again, it's a G chord, or G7, or both of them together. And then another little turnaround-y thing. Little next section. So it goes through the whole thing, and this little turnaround is C, D minor, and then I'm playing another diminished chord, and I'm playing it right here because it goes well with the changes. and then a C7 chord, which is like C major with the pinky down though on the 3rd fret G. So let me show you that diminished chord right here. We can call it D sharp diminished. So look at this shape right here. It's just like the same muscle memory as a D chord. So 1st fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret, and then grab that pinky on the 2nd fret of the high E. So C, D minor, D sharp diminished, C7, then F chord, to C, or C7. Now it goes up to D7, and then G7, D7, D minor 7, G7, and back to C chord, do A7, D minor. Now here comes the walk down from the intro. F chord, E minor, D minor, C sharp 7 or C sharp diminished, D minor, G7, C, and then it does a little different turnaround and what's called a modulation, which means the whole thing shifts up a half step. But let's not do that yet. All the way from the top. C, F, and then the walk down. F, E minor, D minor, G7, C chord, do A7, D minor, and G chord, G chord, haha, G7. Now C, C sharp diminished, D minor 7 to G7, and then back to that C chord, A7, D minor, stay on D minor, and then G chord, G7. Now that turnaround, C, D minor, D sharp diminished, C7. Now F chord, ooh, to C, C7. D7, and then G7, D minor, G7, back to C chord, do A7, D minor, saddest of all chords, D minor. Now the walk, the climb down, F chord, E minor, D minor, but C sharp diminished, D minor, G7, C. Here's how it modulates. It goes to G sharp. Now this is the recording. You could actually, that's the song, right? So if you're still here, you really want to know it. Most of you are not going to make it this far, but it's all right. For the 5 or 10 of you that made it this far, zang. And also, here's the modulation. So, and C, but then G sharp 7 is a really cool way to do it. It's the 5 of C sharp major. So it's real nice when you now are here and it's uplifted. So we got to do it with all bar chords. So I'm just going to say the chords. If If you're good enough to do this, then just follow along. It's just the same progression, but up a half step. So you'd have C sharp, A sharp 7, D sharp minor, but then it's the walk down. So F sharp major, so that's 9th fret, to F minor, 8th fret minor, D sharp minor, D diminished, D sharp minor, G sharp 7, C sharp, C sharp, F sharp, C chord. All right, hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. Thank you again for hanging out and the support. Feel free to leave requests in the comments below, and while you're down there, I appreciate you liking the video, subscribing here, hitting the bell notification, crushing the links below. It's my new word. Anyway, take care. Have a good one.